You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
Alright, Spider Monkey, you ready? Let's just get to it. The the NZ governmental elections, they're coming up this weekend, and I just voted today. Put your hands in the air right now if you've voted. It's super important, man. You should vote. You know, I'm not a political guy. I just thought to myself, how can we make this more relevant to the general population? And so that's why I've decided that we're going to do a cross-analysis of Stephenie Meyer's Twilight with what's going on in the political race in our country. But before we crack into that, I've just found this. Let's get a little close-up action on this. Cereal stout, brewed with real cornflakes. Let's just get to it. We've got instructions on how to open this because it's not that simple, so chill. Okay, we've done that. Shake 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That seems like they're stitching me up. Pour, and then number 4, enjoy. So I'm gonna just... Oh my god. I knew it! Shake, mate. Why are you trying to stitch me up like that? Good George Brewery. Babe. Yeah, Stephenie Meyer's Twilight, let's talk about it. So this is the love story of Isabella Swan, played by Kristen Stewart. My apologies. And Batman. And yeah, basically they go on this adventure of love, and if you think about it a bit too hard, it's kind of bizarre and uncomfortable. You know, she's like 17 or 16 years old, falling in love with a guy who's like 300. And yes, they do eventually end up having what we like to call intercourse, unprotected as well. So she ends up with a kid eventually. I'm sorry if you haven't watched it or read the books, but yeah, that's what happens, and it's pretty disturbing. But there's a lot of interesting characters in this TV series, and I asked myself, okay, so interesting characters. I'm looking at the political landscape of the country I live in. I don't know how she did it, but I think that she wrote this book with what's going on in our country today in mind. To be able to gross like $200 million on a book series, you've got to have something like that, some hidden talent or some hidden knowledge. And it's quite reminiscent of Leonardo da Vinci. I never met Leonardo personally, but, I saw him in movies like Titanic and The Basketball Diaries, and it was moving. If characters from Twilight by Stephenie Meyer were NZ political parties, what would they be? And, so ChatGPT quite liked that. ChatGPT said, interesting mashup, let's see. And we're just going to run through these and discuss it. So, firstly, we're going to have some little meme breaks along the way. So we'll have our first meme break now. Okay, awesome. So, enemy number 1 right now, it seems, for a lot of people, but then also a lot of people are really fiending for this party to come back into government. And that, of course, is the Blue Party National. ChatGPT has said to us that this is a traditional, established, and often seen as the protector of New Zealand. Now, I'm interested to see how that's going to go down with the viewers of this show. Now, who do you think would be the National Party from Stephenie Meyer's Twilight? I'm going to let you think for a little bit. It's our boy Edward Cullen. And I don't actually want to say our boy because I'm not Team Edward. I think he's predatory and he's just soppy. It's like, Edward, mate, just cheer up. Like, what's actually your problem? Yeah, I don't have much more to say on that. I don't mess with Edward, but he made for some great meme content, so we got to give it there. Edward Cullen, National Party. How are you feeling about that? To be honest, when I saw that, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest with you, because I don't know anything really about politics. I'm not going to pretend I do. So, yeah. And I think that's the issue nowadays. A lot of people like to pretend they know things. So, number 2, we've got the Reds, the Labour Party. And the Labour Party is described as embracing change, focused on social issues and equality. And ChatGPT has recommended that this would go to Bella Swan. You know, the whole... do, 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 do. Oh, you know, I can't do the song. Let's insert the Twilight theme song now. Bella Swan, let's think about it. Okay, let's have a little meme break right now, because I think this is super relevant for Bella. So, memes. And, okay, Bella Swan. I don't really know what to say. Bella Swan will do anything to put out for Edward. And I think in this case, I'm thinking Labour's going to be doing anything for the country. And remember, I don't know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, Bella Swan, I don't know what to say about Bella Swan. Look, the whole series is written from her perspective, so you have to stick through it. Oh, am I educated enough to be talking about Twilight? Mate, I've got the red page edition of the Twilight Saga, thanks. Bella Swan, she's super annoying, and yeah, just a simp. An absolute simp. And I guess to be in government and lead your country, you need to be a simp for your country. Like, you just do. Also, I thought it was interesting that we got Bella Swan for Labour Party because, you know, there's always a little bit of lying when you're in government. There's always some promises that are going to be broken. And, you know, I'm looking at my boy, Jacob Black. Shout out to Jacob Black. I'm Team Jacob, and I will stand by that. If you have something to say about being Team Jacob, feel free to get in touch, because I'm going to back up Team Jacob. But let's say Jacob is the country for this example, because Jacob's going to come up later. So let's just say Jacob is New Zealand for now. Bella lies, and Bella uses him, but she also does show love, so I'll give respect. And remember, I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, we are taught your vote is important. Your vote dictates the future of this country. Now, the next one that we have, really kind of climbing up the ranks, you know, it's always been there, it's always been present, but just never really kind of... The next one we got, environmentally conscious with a vision for a sustainable and green future. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Little slogan, 2 ticks green. We got the Green Party. Now, who would you think from Stephenie Meyer's Twilight series would embody the Green Party? I'm going to let you think for a second, because I'm not going to lie, when ChatGPT gave me all of these answers, I was just at a bit of a loss. And that could be due to the fact that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to politics. But ChatGPT has spit back to me Alice Cullen. And, you know, I think that fits perfectly. Alice Cullen, beautiful, beautiful character. And I guess the only thing that I could really pick out from Alice's character that... yeah, okay, I can see the Green Party in that. She is always trying to, like, you know, be inclusive of Bella. You know, they bring Bella into a home filled with vampires who have a cumulative age of 2,000 years, who have not tasted human blood or flesh for probably 500 years. And, you know, she tries to include her because it's her birthday and they want to give her presents, and then... gets a paper cut, and who goes crazy? I think it's Brett. Is that Brett Cullen? I don't know, man. I swear I've read the books, but yeah, Brett loses his head, and yeah, it's all thanks to Alice, because she was trying to, you know, make Bella feel like she's also a vampire, and we're all, you know. So yeah, Alice Cullen, and then the other thing. Here we go. Green future. So as my fellow Twilightians will know, Alice has the ability to see into the future. And I think that's what the Green Party is trying to do, you know? They're trying to envision a beautiful, green, healthy country and future, which is all cool, you know? Like, and I think that's what New Zealand should be. Should be known as this green, happy, friendly place. But, yeah, did they get my vote? No, they did not. The next party that we have, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody involved, has strong ties to local communities. Sometimes seen as a bit of a wild card. Who would you think of? Now, while you think about what party this is and who embodies that, we're going to have another meme. Let's roll it. So, who we've got here, and I'm not happy about this because I know the leader of this party is clowned by a lot of the country. I don't want to say majority because, again, I don't know what I'm talking about. But we've got New Zealand first. And who's embodying that from the Twilight Saga, written by Stephanie Meyer, is Jacob Black, apparently. Okay, I can see the strong ties to his local community, which is the Native American tribe, and he pulls up with his boys and they like to hang out and turn into giant werewolves and run around the woods. So there's the ties to the local community. I think he exclusively hangs out with his Native American boys, because I remember in the first film / book, there's that guy, and he's a big simp for Bella, and he's just got a really punchable face, to be honest. And they go to the movies, Bella, this guy, and Jacob steps him out. So, I mean, that's definitely a wild card thing to do. But yeah, honestly, no more comments on that. I'm not going to say I agree with ChatGPT here on the party correlation, but if you are Team Jacob, then put it right there. Okay, we're going to have, I'm going to say 4 more memes. Let's get another one up. Okay, this is an interesting one. This is one who, I hear that a lot of young men really mess with this party. They really like this party. If you guys aren't up to the slang, mess, it's kind of nowadays people say, oh, that's cool, or I like them, I mess with them. Interestingly enough, the character that is embodying this party is a female. Now, this party advocates for individual freedoms and limited government intervention. Now, I did have brief looks at some of the key parties. I'm kind of confused on limited government intervention because personally, I thought that the government comes into... I don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I thought that the party that gets into government does intervene with your everyday life and society. But, I don't know, man. I don't know. But, of course, we're talking about ACT New Zealand. Okay, so who's our David Seymour from the Twilight Saga? That's going to be no other than Rosalie Hale. And I can honestly see that. Now that I've seen this, I'm thinking back to watching the Twilight Saga. And I'm thinking back to Rosalie Hale. And yeah, I can see kind of David Seymour vibes, He seems like a bit of a quiet guy, but he does seem like a guy I'd like to have a beer with, just on face value. He's got a goofy smile, and I've no doubt that he can have a beer with you. His policies and his party, mate, I don't know how many times I have to tell you, I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's how he looks to me. He looks like a guy who could enjoy a beer with you. And Rosalie Hale looks like a woman who I could have a beer with too. You know what I'm saying? So pretty chill as a person, but maybe some of her ideas are, could be extreme. Again, I don't know what I'm talking about. Have a little meme break again. I believe we've got 2 more memes after that one. The next party we're going to be talking about is innovative and forward-thinking, looking for new opportunities and solutions. Okay, I think ChatGPT's nailed this one. We have got the Opportunities Party, aka TOP. Now, TOP's key policy that I saw was the teal card, which gives you discounts on lots of things. Awesome, cheers TOP. And that's going to cost the government, if they get into power, $1.6 billion a year. That's all good. It's just two numbers, you know. It's only singular, 1.6. That's not that much money. Who do we have representing the top party? None other than the biggest DILF I have ever seen in American media, Carlisle Cullen. Now, shout out to Carlisle Cullen, and I think they've really nailed this ChatGPT. So thanks, robot. You've done a great job. I'm actually just going to quickly type that. I like to do that sometimes, you know. If I use ChatGPT, sometimes I go, hey, thanks, robot. That was helpful. But yeah, Carlisle Cullen, top party. I can see it. You know, he's always trying to be nice, and he's also like, what's her name? Alice Cullen, his daughter. Okay, here's a question for all you Twilightians out there. So, as you all know, that some of these vampires are not actually family. So, for example, Edward Cullen. He's got the same last name as Carlisle, but he's actually just some dude who was dying on a bed, and then Carlisle, for some reason, was like, I'm gonna save this handsome young man for no other reason but for the fact I want him to be my adopted son. Yeah, okay, buddy. Son, you know, we do want another vampire in the family. Do you want it to be the Labour Party? Do you want it to be Bella Swan? And I don't know, does he? I did hear something that, Topper's like teaming up. They said they'll team up with National or something, which is going completely against their policies. Or it could be Labour. You know, because remember, I have no clue what I'm talking about. We're just having some fun, and we're enjoying a cereal milk stout by Garage Project. Now, the last one that we have is embracing diversity and advocating for the rights and well-being of Indigenous people. Now, this one's pretty obvious, but, you know, for some people, it might not be so obvious, so I'm going to put one more meme to fill up the time. Now, if your guess was Te Pāti Māori, then you were completely correct, and this is Esme Cullen. For me, Esme Cullen was pretty non-existent in my memory in the saga. You know, we like to call it a saga, not a quad. Why is it called a saga? You know, why is it not called a quadrilogy? Is that a word? Because it should be. But yeah, Esme Cullen. Look, for me personally, I would swap Jacob Black and Esme Cullen. I think Jacob Black should embody the Māori Party, but that's just me personally, because he actually is an Indigenous individual in this series. So, and, you know, ChatGPT's asked me, what do you think of this political vampire drama? Well, I think it's pretty interesting, personally. But yeah, let's just quickly reflect on some of the things that we've seen leading up to the election. And the first thing was the leaders' debate. So I watched that one. As I mentioned briefly, Chris Hipkins and Christopher Luxon. They're just some lying clowns. Oh my gosh. And the thing in the leaders debate, God, I hate how like passive aggressive and just so, you know, there's just this underlying reek, and I could smell it through the TV, of just F you to the opposition that they're debating with. But, you know, you all got to sugarcoat it and all that jazz. I did debating in year 10, so trust me, I know what I'm talking about here. And yeah, I just don't really like that. It's just, I don't know. Their faces, oh my God. Their faces when they would say something that just, they knew would get under the skin of the other. This is how they look. Anyway, so that is wrapping up the parties that we have here. But quite interestingly, none of the parties that popped up on this ChatGPT response were the ones that I casted my vote for. I'm not going to talk about the ones that I voted for because I don't want to get too political, even though this episode is kind of about politics, but it's also kind of not because I don't know what I'm talking about. But Yeah, I mean, guys, go cast your vote. It's important to vote for your country. You know, you are making a difference by voting. So get out there and vote. Final review on the beer, though, let's see. 7 out of 10. And the last thing I'm going to leave you all with. Do you think that this country that we live in should be called New Zealand, or should it be called Aotearoa? And go vote.